Oi!
Hi, welcome back to BREW City Builds. My name's Marcel. Around this time last year, I started this little YouTube channel not having any idea what I was really getting myself into as far as renovating a house and trying to figure out how to not be a freak in front of the camera. But here we are a year later and the main level of the house is officially done. I can't say that I totally become comfortable in front of the camera, but I'm doing what I can. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you've been following along on this reno journey, thank you so much for your support. So yeah, we finally made it to the upstairs. My plan for up there is to make this like a chill zone slash Ben's office slash another place for guests to sleep. There's some built-in bookcases that I want to rip out. There's some old smelly carpet that definitely has to go. It needs a new paint job and I'm putting in a new floor. I want to do a wood ceiling, but I'm gonna have to wait till I have a wad of cash because lumber's expensive. So for now, I'm just gonna paint it and then we'll go back and revisit that at some point. I'm keeping this side of the upstairs pretty mellow. It's pretty much just like a pass through to get to the chill area. So I do have some big plans for the other side, but I'm not gonna talk about that till the next video. So with that disclaimer, let's get started. Demo day. I just popped myself full of matcha so that I can rip out all this carpet and the padding. There's a little tear in the carpet and so I can kind of see what's underneath and the tile looks very interesting. But yeah, once that's out, I'm gonna rip out the built-in bookcases that are up here. And then I'm gonna go in on the quarter round around the baseboards so I'll be able to install the new flooring when that time comes. These floors are a total vibe for sure. So that was intense. There was like a million staples in the floor that I had to remove. There was also a layer of gunk on the floor. There still kind of is, but I scrubbed the floor twice with bleach, so hopefully that'll help get rid of the dog smell that was up here a little bit. I think the carpet is what really smells, but I just wanted to make sure. There was also that giant pile of wood from the bookshelf, so now that that's all out, I can finally get to the wall prep. These walls are masonite up here rather than like a plaster or drywall, so I have to be a little bit more careful when I'm doing like all the repairs and the patchwork and things like that. I did a little research and they said to spackle with wood putty rather than a spackle, so I'm gonna try that. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it look perfect up here, but I'm definitely gonna try to make it look as good as I can. I just cut in with 2 coats of Ultra Pure White by BEHR. I'm not using a primer because after using BEHR paint in Jack's Playroom, I really liked it and I didn't have to use a primer, so I'm hoping that's the case in this room as well. So yeah, now that that's done, I'm gonna get a roller and go to town on the walls and the ceiling. Once the paint's up on the walls, I'm gonna get to work on the trim and the cabinet doors. That's a whole other can of worms though, because I have to take off the hinges and the handles and all that stuff. I'll have all the paints linked in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you have any questions about anything. Now that the trim is painted, it's time to go to town on the cabinet doors and the new hardware. I I got some hinges off Amazon, but the ones I liked only came in black, so I'm heading to the hardware store to get some satin white spray paint. I kind of just want them to disappear into the walls, so I think painting them will definitely help that. I also want to get those little spring-loaded magnets that you just kind of push on and it opens the door rather than having a latch, so that way it just kind of makes everything a little bit more clean and simple than it was before. Now that the walls are painted and the doors are back up on the cabinets, it's time to start working on the floors. I'm just going to be laying the new tiles over the existing floors because I can't even deal with that stuff. So yeah, the floor we decided to go with are these vinyl tiles that kind of look like a school floor. I don't know, that's what it reminds me of. But they're pretty inexpensive. It was like $40 for 40 tiles in a box, so that's not bad. Ben and I both like the vibe of these tiles. They're kind of darker and a nice contrast to the downstairs, and they also look like terrazzo, so we were totally sold. I already patched a couple holes in the floor from where the cabinets were. I used some masonite for that and just kind of cut it to size and glued and nailed those down, so now the floor is totally level. I was doing some research on which adhesive to use for these vinyl tiles, and I ended up just going with what the website told me. You know, when you like buy something and it's like, oh, these were bought together. So this was the product. I'll have it linked in the description box below if you want to check it out. I'm pumped to start this part because the floors are just totally throwing me off for like how this upstairs is going to look. So I think once this part is done, it's going to be like a totally new space. Holy moly, that floor was a workout. My shoulders are super sore from using that little roller thing, but I feel super good because the floors on this side of the room are finished. I'm really happy with how it turned out though. It feels very like sleek and modern, so it's a nice contrast from the rest of the house. I'm about to start working on the banister that's going to be going around the stairwell that's replacing that old bookcase. I'm happy this is going up because it's been kind of freaky working around this giant gaping hole in the floor, so it'll definitely feel a lot safer as I finish off the room. But I'm also kind of nervous because I've never done anything like this before. I got these prefab steel railings from the hardware store. All I have to do is install the posts and then cut the railing down to size and then install it. Sounds easy enough, so let's see how it goes. I honestly cannot believe that I figured out this banister. I'm sure some of you are like, dude, what's the big deal? It's just railing. But I was super nervous about it, so I'm very relieved that it all worked out. She's sturdy and not totally crooked, so we're good. At this point, I would be installing the quarter round around the baseboards, but I'm gonna wait because the other side of the floor isn't done yet, so I wanna do that all at the same time. I also just installed the cute little flush mount light that I got from Wayfair. I like it because it's similar to the ones that we put in downstairs with the milky glass, but the shape is unique, so it definitely defines the space up here. So yeah, I think at this point, we're ready to start moving in the furniture. We're moving the credenza from the living room because there's a perfect little spot up here. We're slowly making room for Ben's piano that we're gonna get. There's really not a lot of stuff that we're putting on this side of the upstairs except for the credenza, a new plant, and we're also starting a gallery wall on the stairwell. So yeah, I really think it's just time to do final touches. Okay, I feel like it's as done as it's gonna get for now. If you got involved in my little Instagram poll to help me figure out the layout for the artwork, you rule. And if you want to be involved with some design decisions like that moving forward, or to keep up with the random stuff that I'm posting in between videos, definitely follow BREW CITY BUILDS Instagram. But enough of me talking. Let's take a look. Alright, stage 1 is officially done. I don't know if this side was super satisfying as far as design goes since there wasn't a lot of furniture up in there, but it's paving the way to part 2, which has a lot more stuff going on. Either way, I hope you enjoyed what I did change, and I can't wait to share what I have coming up. Let me know what you think of the transformation so far in the comments, and feel free to hit that little like button, and the subscribe, and the bell so you'll be notified when my next video comes out. I appreciate you so much for watching, and see you soon. Bye.